Clerk will report the Rush Amendment.
Amendment to H.R. 5797, offered by Mr. Rush.
Without objection, further reading of the amendments dispensed with, and the gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes to speak on his amendment.
I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my amendment, Rush 45, simply expands treatment options for addicts in the U.S. While we are here discussing the opioid addiction, Mr. Chairman, we are ignoring other acute addictive issues that continue to face our nation. Addressing the opioid epidemic is important, but that does not mean that we can ignore long-standing killers like alcohol and other intoxicants. To remedy this, Mr. Chairman, my amendment expands the underlying treatment option to those suffering from substance abuse, which includes, among other things, alcohol, stimulants such as cocaine, and opiate use disorder. In too many communities, including mine, many are the primary causes of drug-related deaths. While I am glad, Mr. Chairman, that we are addressing the opioid issue, ignoring other addicts and other addictions is not only a grave disservice, it is a gross injustice. Too often, Mr. Chairman, this committee and this House have paid attention to issues only when they affect the majority white population. This leaves far too many black and other brown Americans behind. These other Americans have suffered because of the inaction and the indifference of elected officials. In my eyes, Mr. Chairman, that means that we have failed as a legislative body. Why it is that instead of treatment, why is it, Mr. Chairman, that instead of treatment, minority Americans are subject to incarceration? Why is it, Mr. Chairman, that issues of this degree only generate headlines and action by this Congress when they come to a white face? Even more insulting, Mr. Chairman, when a crisis that impacts the African American community is seen by this body as a criminal justice crisis, but when it affects the white community, it's seen as a public health crisis. This bill, as written, Mr. Chairman, adds insults to injury by once again excluding treatment from those who are primarily addicted to crack cocaine, even though it serves as a gateway to the opioid addiction that we are seeing in every community across this nation. So, Mr. Chairman, I think it is crucial that this committee ceases disregarding these long-forgotten Americans. And before I close, Mr. Chairman, I really want to express my displeasure at attempts by staff to persuade me to tone down my remarks. This adds intolerable insult to this deeply felt injury. This issue is one that should spark outrage in all of us. Outrage for the untold numbers of families that have been torn apart. Outrage for those who suffered too long with too little help. And outrage for those who are languishing even today in our jails instead of receiving the treatment that they so badly and desperately need. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back the balance of my time, and I withdraw my amendment.
I appreciate the gentleman's passion on this issue, and we look forward to continuing to work with him. And the gentleman withdraws his amendment. Are there other members wishing to comment on this legislation, to speak on it, or to offer amendments? If not, if there's no further discussion, the question now arises on approving and favorably reporting H.R. 5797 as amended to the House. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes have it, and the measure is favorably reported to the House. Chair now calls up H.R. 5799. This would be number 26, and asks for the clerk to report.
H.R. 5799, to amend Title 19 of the Social Security Act to require, as a condition of receipt of full federal medical assistance percentage under Medicaid, that state Medicaid plans have in place certain drug utilization review activities.
Without objection, the first reading of the bill is dispensed with. The bill will be open for amendment at any point. Are there any bipartisan amendments? For what purpose? The gentleman from